Do I have enough to retire? That seems to be the question everybody's asking. On this channel, $1 Million Made Easy, we run numbers and we simply look at the historical returns of the S&P 500. I recently did a video. Somebody asked, they said they had 950,000. They were only 40 years old. No, excuse me, they were 35 years old. They figured their monthly expenses would be 6,000 a month, and they want to know if they would be able to retire. And what we always look at, first of all, it's very important you know what your monthly expenses are going to be. A 35-year-old, 6,000 a month, that would be 7.58% withdrawal of this amount right here, 950,000. And we saw that if we give the individual a 3% COLA, how many times they would have run out of money in the last 100 years using the results, returns for the S&P 500 for the last 100 years. How many times would it be problematic? We saw that 25.9% of the time you'd be running out of money. Look at it in graph form during the Depression years, some during the 60s, some during around the year 2000. 25% of the time running out of money. Other times you'd be just fine, but who knows what the next 10, 20, and 30 years are going to go hold. We can have graphs, years like this, returns like this, or we can have returns where you run out of money. The problem with it is it's 7.58%. So people say, well, you wouldn't leave it all in the S&P 500. So we also ran it with, for example, a 70-30 split where 70% is staying in the S&P 500 because you want to gain from these returns. 30% is going over to a liquid account. So when the market's going down, you're taking your withdrawals from the cash reserve account. You don't want to take it from the market when it's already going down. You don't want to sell low. So we went ahead and updated this. Look, it's 26%, and you're going to be amazed. Those of you that didn't see the video before, it's going to be even a worse scenario. Instead of 26% of the time run out of money, going to be 31%. Why? Because you're withdrawing 7.58% of your nest egg, and part of your nest egg is only getting, for example, 4%. I ran the cash reserve account at 4%, and the rest of it's coming from the stock market that actually is going down some cases. So you end up with 31% of the time running out of money with just changing your asset allocation. So what's the answer? Well, I just had a second person ask me, what happens if I'm 40 years old and have $2 million, but I also have the expenses of 6,000 a month, so they had that right. What's that? Does that make a difference? Well, look at this. You're going from a 7.58% withdrawal to a 3.6%. Well, not well, but below the 4% rule. We've seen in the 4% rule, you have no problem if you stick to 4% or lower. It's that 7.58 that we saw when you only had 950,000 and you still needed 6,000. But watch what happens now. They have plenty enough money to cover this $6,000 a month because they're only withdrawing 3.6%. How many times you're out of money? Zero. Doesn't really matter what I pick for asset allocation. Let's go back to this right here. Update. I think maybe in 1929 it might be an issue, but every other scenario, just fine. Again, this is the 2% of the time. But if you have an asset allocation of, let's do 60-40, 70-30, 60-40, whatever, some going over to cash reserve because 1929 was so horrible that, yeah, you would have run out of money because, let me just show you this for those of you that aren't familiar with the 1929 numbers. There they are right here, down, 35, down. So eventually you did run out of money if you didn't have some going over in the cash reserve. If you left it right here, here's the summary box for 1929 numbers. Watch what happens when I hit zero. You'd run out of money in 16 years. But if you have a 70-30 split, you're running out of money in 27 years. A 60-40 split, you're not running out of money. It's getting low after 30 years. But see the difference that made? But the key is this 3.6%. So if you know what your monthly expenses are, which is always where you need to start to know if you have enough money to retire, what are your expected monthly expenses? If you want to retire young before Social Security kicks in, we also run Social Security numbers. But these people are talking about wanting to retire at age 35 with 950,000 was a no-go. 7.58% withdrawal rate. We saw that the percentage of time you'd run out of money. I guess you could take your chances. But in this case, if you have $2 million, you still got that 6,000 a month monthly expenses, your withdrawal rate's only 3.6%. You have no problem. You're not going to run out of money. This is the graph. Look at this. This is 5 million, 10 million. I mean, look at these numbers. They're just plain amazing. Why? Because you kept within that 3 point or under 4% or around 4%. You start going up to 7 and 8%, that's when you run into problems. So first of all, figure out your monthly expenses and then see what the percentage withdrawal rate is if you have enough saved yet. And that'll tell you right there. And then we do all kinds of different variables for you. Change your COLA, change your asset allocation. But that's what we do in this channel. We run numbers for people. If you want me to run numbers for you, just give me your beginning balance, how much you want to withdraw if you're in the withdrawal stage. If you want a COLA, and we'll go ahead and run it. Thanks for watching this channel. We also do it in the accumulation stage, and we love to run numbers for people, especially when you have 30 or more years. Please consider subscribing to this channel. Please share it with others. Let people know there's a channel out there that'll run numbers for them. Thanks for watching.